wild kingdom spanning nearly 20,000 square kilometers. A biological arena stretching across South Africa. A thrilling nature-animal documentary. This is Kruger National Park. Who is the true ruler of this realm? Leave a comment below and join us for Lion King, battle for survival of apex predators. Kruger unveils its most ancient geological forces in the southwest, the granite hills and Skukuza thickets. The foundation of this region is grey granite bedrock, formed from molten magma over 3 billion years ago. Through millennia of erosion, they have created copies. Isolated rock hills rising from a sea of trees. Here, the average annual rainfall reaches about 550 to 600 millimeters, significantly higher than in other parts of the park. This abundant water source sustains a dense and complex broad-leaved woodland ecosystem. Visibility here is severely restricted, often less than 50 meters. For herbivores, this is a nightmare, as predators can be lurking anywhere. The lion fully exploits the topographical gift bestowed by nature. Tall thickets allow them to slip effortlessly into stealth mode. The prey is now within sight, an unsuspecting impala. The hunt commences with the lithe movements of the lionesses. They utilize every tree trunk to conceal their 130-kilogram frames. The gap narrows, 30 meters, 20 meters. Just a few more steps and the hunt will erupt. But high atop a towering marula tree, an observer is silently watching. The baboon. Keen eyesight, comparable to a human's, helps them spot the lion's tawny coat amidst the dry grass. The very moment the lioness prepares to strike, an ear-piercing shriek rings out. The signature alarm call of the alpha male baboon. And the impala understands perfectly the message conveyed in that grating sound. Death is near. It acts immediately, as if by pre-programmed instinct. The element of surprise, the lion's most vital weapon, has been completely destroyed. Resentment for the spoilers surges. The hunt fails, energy is wasted, and stomachs remain empty. This debt must be repaid. But the baboon is not easily subdued. They are among the most cunning animals in Kruger. They live in large troops, sometimes numbering over 100 members. They select the highest vantage points on trees or granite outcrops to survey the entire valley. No movement of a predator can escape this early warning system. The baboon knows full well that the lion lacks the climbing prowess of the leopard. Consequently, they frequently engage in taunting or sabotaging their enemy. The lion, with its prideful nature, harbors a deep-seated grudge over this. But as long as the baboons remain fortified on the high branches, even the kings and queens of the grassland are rendered helpless. Will the lions manage to exact their revenge? Leave your predictions below and keep watching to find the answer. This is not the first time the baboon has rescued the impala from the claws of a predator. Their peculiar relationship has baffled biologists for decades. They term this relationship frenemies, part friend, part foe. The impala possesses a hypersensitive sense of smell and hearing. They unmask predators in the bush by detecting footsteps or scents carried on the breeze. In return, the baboon compensates for the antelope's visual shortcomings with its ability to observe from high vantage points. Together, they form a flawless security system with 0 blind spots. If either species emits an alarm call, the other flees instantly without need for verification. This collaboration significantly reduces predation rates by lions and leopards. Baboons and impalas also share dietary benefits. While foraging for figs or marula fruit in the trees, baboons inadvertently drop ample fruit, fresh leaves, and branches to the ground. The impala benefits directly from this rain of food. They gain access to nutritional sources that are usually beyond their reach. However, the dynamic shifts when the impala enters the birthing season. As opportunistic omnivores, baboons do not overlook vulnerable impala fawns. The gentle herbivores are rendered utterly helpless against the 5-centimeter canines of the alpha males. Yet, this is a brutal cost-benefit analysis that the impala accepts. Alone, the entire impala herd could be wiped out by lions or leopards. Accompanied by baboons, they are shielded from apex predators. The lost fawns are a small blood tax they are forced to pay. Not every antelope species is brave enough to join the noisy alliance with the baboon. Unlike the impala, the bushbuck chooses a solitary existence. They also frequently trail monkey troops to pick up fallen fruit, but they always maintain their distance, ready to flee at a moment's notice. Sometimes, aggressive baboons will descend to the ground, chasing off the bushbuck to reclaim a tasty morsel. The bushbuck's defining characteristic is its peculiar gait. The hind legs are longer than the forelegs, causing the rump to be raised higher than the shoulders. This anatomy earns them the nickname the hunchback. This hunched posture allows the bushbuck to duck and weave through dense thorn thickets at high speed. When pursued, the bushbuck plunges headlong into the densest vegetation where larger predators cannot squeeze through. The dark brown coat of the male, or reddish brown of the female, is adorned with white spots and vertical stripes. Under the dappled sunlight filtering through the riverine forest canopy, these patterns break up their body outline, rendering them invisible. Though shy, bushbucks are formidable warriors when cornered. Males possess spiraled, razor-sharp horns measuring about 50 centimeters. That weapon can take down even a leopard in mortal combat. Bushbucks are also accomplished swimmers. The river is their method of shaking off persistent pursuers like lions or baboons. They navigate long stretches of water to move between isolated islands that other species cannot reach. Sometimes, the most elusive creatures are the ones that endure the longest in Kruger. But escaping from agile and versatile opportunists like the baboon is no easy feat. The vervet monkey, a diminutive yet cheeky cousin, has accepted life in the shadow of the giant baboons. As night falls, primates must seek sleeping quarters high in the trees to evade predators. The baboon, with superior strength, always claims the highest, safest, and sturdiest branches. They relegate the vervets to the lower or more fragile branches at the fringes of the canopy. Inadvertently, the vervet monkey becomes a living shield for the baboon. If a leopard attacks in the night, the vervet monkey serves as the first line of defense. This buys the baboon time to escape or counterattack. Despite such subordination, the vervet monkey thrives thanks to its social intelligence. They live within a strict matriarchal society. Females remain in their natal troop for life, while males must emigrate upon reaching maturity. Young females help care for and cradle the infants of higher-ranking females. This is how they gain experience and forge alliances. This is their characteristic allomothering behavior. But the vervet monkey is also notorious for vices that are remarkably human. In areas near the Skukuza rest camp, they have acquired the habit of pilfering food from tourists. They know how to unzip tents, open trash can lids, and identify food packaging. Some studies even indicate that vervet monkeys have a tendency toward alcoholism. They frequently steal alcoholic beverages from visitors or consume fermented fruit to seek a buzz. About 20% of the troop prefers alcohol over sweet water, if given the choice. If the Kruger ecosystem were a movie, this monkey would likely be the lovable comic relief villain, rather than the brutal antagonist like the baboon. If you were an animal forced to coexist with baboons, would you adopt the tactics of the bushbuck, the vervet monkey, or the impala? Leave your answer in the comment section below. They are ruthless even towards their own kind. Baboon society is a volatile dictatorship. The alpha position brings ultimate power. The right to mate with all females and exclusive access to the choicest food. But the crown always comes with a heavy burden. The alpha male must constantly face the immigrants. These are young, vigorous males transferring from other troops in search of social advancement. They bring fresh blood and the ambition to topple the old order. The baboons' weaponry in these civil wars consists of barks and fangs. The male's canines are sharper than even a lion's, honed naturally every time they yawn. A single bite can sever thigh muscles or puncture the skull of a rival. To secure the throne, the aging alpha forms coalitions with other older males in the troop. They join forces to gang up on any young upstart daring to challenge their authority. But when cornered, they resort to clutching an infant to their chest as a living shield. A somewhat cowardly tactic that forces the opponent to hesitate. If the infant is harmed, the entire female troop will inevitably erupt in rage and attack. Furthermore, The role of the kingmaker is crucial. These are often high-ranking females within the troop. They can incite other females to ostracize and harass the new male, ensuring the usurper cannot rule in peace. Baboon society resembles a Shakespearean drama in the bush, where conspiracy, betrayal, and violence play out daily beneath the African sun. The baboon's most dreaded enemy lurks amidst that scorching sun: the leopard. This fear is so profound that merely catching the scent of a leopard's urine causes stress hormone levels in the baboon's blood to instantly skyrocket. This is a feud etched into the genetic code of both species over millions of years of evolution. To counter these cunning primate troops, the leopard has evolved into the ultimate assassination machine. Their coat is a masterpiece of disruptive camouflage. The rosettes break up their body outline, helping them blend seamlessly into the dappled light beneath the dense marula canopy. Their foot anatomy, featuring thick pads, dampens sound, allowing them to approach targets within a 5-meter range. The war between leopard and baboon hinges entirely on the time of day. Twilight marks the moment death comes knocking. The leopard, with superior night vision and climbing prowess, becomes the arbiter of life and death. With immense shoulder and neck strength, they silently ascend the high trees where the monkey troop sleeps. A precise bite to the nape serves to sever the spinal cord or crush the windpipe. In the darkness, the baboon is rendered completely defenseless and panicked. But as the sun rises, the balance of power tips. Daylight brings the hour of retribution. Upon spotting a leopard moving on the ground, the baboon does not flee. Under the command of the alpha male, the entire troop initiates mobbing mode. The largest males form a semicircle, cutting off the leopard's escape route. They scream piercingly, bare their fangs in threat, and launch continuous attacks from multiple directions. The confidence of numbers overrides instinctual fear. The long canines of a male baboon can inflict fatal wounds. For a solitary species like the leopard, an injury is synonymous with an inability to hunt and subsequent starvation. Pride matters less than life and the future. They accept retreat. The image of the King of Shadows fleeing from his own prey is the clearest testament to the power of unity. In Kruger, no one is invincible. Even the leopard must bow to the strength of the troop when sunlight prevails. Leaving the western granite hills behind, we venture toward the southeast of Kruger. The terrain shifts abruptly into flat basalt plains, stretching to the very horizon. Fertile soil derived from ancient lava nourishes the most nutritious sweetgrass in the park. This serves as a magnet, attracting massive herds of herbivores: zebra, wildebeest, and buffalo. And naturally, wherever there is prey, there are the rulers. Returning to familiar territory allows the pride to quickly move past the failed Impala hunt. To sustain an extended family of 15 members, they require a more substantial yield of meat. The blue wildebeest is a formidable option. But the wildebeest is no easy quarry. They are medium-weight tanks, weighing up to 250 kilograms, possessing seemingly limitless stamina and sharp, curved horns. In Lower Sabi, the wildebeest do not undertake the Great Migration as seen in the Serengeti. They remain resident year-round, forming stable and highly vigilant populations. The lion's tactic for hunting wildebeest is a textbook military lesson. The pincer movement, encirclement. The lionesses split into two distinct groups. The first group acts as the wings, or drivers. They reveal themselves openly, moving upwind so the wildebeest herd can see and catch their scent. Their objective is to sow fear, funneling the prey toward a predetermined direction. The second group is the centers, or ambushes. These are the most seasoned hunters, having silently concealed themselves in the thickets directly in the prey's flight path. As the wildebeest herd flees in panic from the drivers, they unwittingly sprint straight into a death trap. The impact occurs in a split second. Lionesses burst from the bush, targeting individuals on the fringe. One lioness leaps onto the back to bite the spine, while another clamps onto the throat from below. The hunt concludes. The life of one wildebeest has been exchanged for the survival of the entire pride for the next 2 days. The dominant male lion typically remains on the sidelines, observing the lioness's pursuit of wildebeest. Weighing up to 200 kilograms and sporting a voluminous mane, they are simply too massive and conspicuous to participate in ambushes requiring stealth. Their primary mandate is territorial defense, and only when the target is the Cape buffalo do the kings personally enter the fray. In Lower Sabi, Cape buffalo congregate in massive herds, numbering in the hundreds. They are mobile fortresses, sullen, obstinate, and extremely aggressive. To take down a near-ton buffalo, lions cannot rely on speed. They employ the tactic of siege and attrition. The male lion leads the charge, plowing into the herd to sow chaos and isolate an elderly or injured bull. Hundreds of kilograms of weight bearing down on the spine rapidly exhaust the buffalo, crippling its mobility. Simultaneously, lions on the ground execute the hamstringing technique. They target the Achilles tendon or the hamstrings, tearing at the flesh to incapacitate the prey's ability to stand. Yet, the Cape buffalo possesses the most tenacious vitality in the savannah. Even while being mauled by 3 lions, it stands its ground, bellowing for help and attempting to fling its enemies with its rock-hard boss. If the herd returns to the rescue, the lions are forced to flee. But if the buffalo is abandoned, its fate is sealed. As the exhausted buffalo collapses, the male lion applies his full jaw strength to execute a muzzle clamp, cutting off the animal's airway. It can take up to 20 agonizing minutes for a buffalo to die of suffocation. This is a brutal, bloody, and unforgiving war, where only absolute power secures victory. The lion and the Cape buffalo, which is the most fearsome beast in Kruger in your opinion? Share your answer with us in the comments section below. As the giants, now sated, retire to the shade to rest, the feast of the white-backed vulture begins. This is the most abundant vulture species in Kruger. They are nature's professional sanitation crew. Hundreds of vultures descend upon the buffalo carcass, creating a chaotic spectacle known as a feeding frenzy. The white-backed vulture possesses a long, featherless neck. This allows them to plunge deep into the bloody abdominal cavity to consume organs without soiling their plumage, thereby avoiding the risk of infection. Their tongue features a specialized structure with backward-facing grooves, acting like a rasp to strip meat from bone at breakneck speed. In mere minutes, a buffalo carcass weighing hundreds of kilograms can be picked clean, leaving behind only a stark white skeleton. The vulture's digestive system is a chemical reactor. Their stomach acid is potent enough to destroy anthrax and cholera bacteria. They are the final line of defense, preventing pathogens from contaminating water sources and the soil. However, the fate of this bird in Kruger hangs by a thread. Rhino and elephant poaching has indirectly decimated them. Poachers often lace carcasses with poison to kill the vultures, intending to prevent them from circling overhead and alerting rangers to their location. Every time a flock of vultures perishes, the Kruger ecosystem loses a vital link in the recycling of life. As the sun dips below the horizon, turning the lower Sabi grasslands a blazing gold, the lion pride returns to its social rhythm. Unlike all other solitary felids, the lion is an extremely social species. The core of a pride is the sisterhood. These are females related by blood, grandmothers, mothers, daughters, sisters, and aunts. They live together, hunt together, and raise cubs together within the same territory for life. Females in the pride often go into estrus and give birth simultaneously. This allows them to communally raise the litter of cubs. This solidarity boosts the survival rate of cubs against external threats. When the patrolling males return, a special ritual takes place. The greeting ceremony. They rub heads and cheeks against one another, intertwining bodies. This is how they exchange scents from facial glands, reinforcing family bonds and reaffirming status within the pride. Male lions in Kruger often form male coalitions. These are typically blood brothers who grew up together and rule together. A coalition of 2 to 3 males is far more formidable than a lone individual, helping them maintain territorial tenure longer against challengers. And as night falls, the most commanding sound of Africa rings out. The roar, the structure of flat, square vocal folds, allows lions to produce high-intensity sound with minimal effort. The roar can travel up to 8 kilometers, carrying 2 vital messages. First is location. This is how pride members recognize one another, and second is warning. Based on the intensity and number of responding roars, lions can assess the numbers of the enemy. From there, they make the decision to attack or defend. But the war in Lower Sabi revolves not merely around power, but around personal vendettas. Lions have never forgotten those who sabotaged their hunt. The baboon. The dynamic between these two species transcends the standard laws of the food chain. Lions often kill baboons but do not consume them, or consume very little. This act of killing bears the distinct mark of punishment and the elimination of a nuisance. The baboon is well aware of this. When perched on high trees or cliffs, they are safe and frequently taunt and scream to provoke the lions. But lions are master strategists. They know the baboon's weakness lies in curiosity and the overconfidence of the alpha males. The lion's tactic is the decoy. A single lioness reveals herself, feigning a solitary wander or resting wearily beneath a tree. Seeing a solitary enemy, the baboon's bullying instinct is triggered. The alpha male, seeking to assert dominance before the female troop, descends low or even hits the ground to threaten the lion. Unbeknownst to the baboon, other lions lie in ambush within the surrounding thickets, forming a tight encirclement. The baboon is agile, but it cannot outpace 4 or 5 lions converging from all directions. The result is a savage mauling. The blood-curdling screams of the male baboon serve as a grim lesson for the entire troop, trembling in the trees. Never trifle with the king when your feet touch the ground. The vengeance is complete, reaffirming the absolute supremacy of the lion on the Lower Sabi plains. Are you more impressed by the combat tactics of the lion or the baboon? Leave a comment below and let's see how many people share your view. Heading toward the heart of Kruger lies the vast Satara Plains. Here, the soil is more arid, with grass growing short and sparse. Visibility opens up to the absolute maximum, stretching to the very horizon. This terrain transforms Satara into a colossal racetrack. Here, there is no room for stealthy ambushes. Survival in Satara hinges on a single factor: speed. This is the domain of the Dark Continent's fastest sprinters. The uncrowned king of speed at Satara is the cheetah. Their body is an aerodynamic masterpiece, optimized down to the millimeter for slicing through the wind. An ultra-lightweight skeleton and a deep chest housing a massive heart and lungs to pump maximum oxygen. Enlarged nostrils facilitate rapid air intake even while sprinting at high velocity. All these features allow the cheetah to accelerate from 0 to 112 kilometers per hour in a mere 3 seconds. This acceleration outperforms any man-made sports supercar. At top speed, their stride measures up to 7 meters. During each stride, there are moments when all 4 paws leave the ground, making them appear to be flying through the air. To maintain traction at high speeds, the cheetah possesses a trait unique among felids. Their claws cannot fully retract. They remain exposed, acting like the spikes on a sprinter's shoes to generate grip and propulsion. The long, heavy tail acts as a rudder, acting as a counterbalance during sharp turns in pursuit of prey. On the face, Two black streaks running from the inner corners of the eyes to the mouth are known as tear marks. They are not for decoration, but function like built-in sunglasses, absorbing sunlight to reduce glare during daytime hunts. However, the cheetah's life is a cruel trade-off. For speed, they must sacrifice combat strength. Their slender frame makes them the most vulnerable among the large predators. They are frequently robbed of their kills by lions and hyenas, or even killed themselves. The cheetah's social life also holds fascinating paradoxes. Females lead a solitary existence, roaming vast home ranges in search of prey and avoiding enemies. Conversely, males often form groups called coalitions, typically composed of blood brothers. This alliance helps them defend smaller but richer territories and increases access to mates. In Kruger, the cheetah population faces immense pressure. The rising numbers of lions and hyenas in Satara are causing the living space of this living race car to shrink. They are ghosts of speed racing against extinction. If the cheetah is the king of speed among predators, then the common sasabi is the champion among the prey. This is the fastest antelope in Africa. They can reach maximum speeds of up to 90 kilometers per hour. Although slightly slower than the cheetah in short bursts, the sasabi possesses a secret weapon: stamina. The cheetah can only maintain top speed for about 300 meters before its body overheats. The sasabi is different. They can sustain high speeds over distances of several kilometers. If the sasabi survives the first 20 seconds of the chase, victory is all but guaranteed. The sasabi's physique appears somewhat peculiar, with high shoulders and a sloping back. But this design optimizes kinetic energy during a full gallop. Their coat is a deep reddish-brown with a characteristic purple sheen, helping them stand out under the Satara sun. Sasabi are also intelligent strategists. They have a habit of standing on high termite mounds to observe. This vantage point gives them a commanding view, allowing them to detect predators from a vast distance amidst the sea of grass. This behavior is also a signal, a display of fitness and vigilance. When detecting a cheetah, the sasabi usually does not flee immediately. They stand their ground, snorting or shaking their heads as if to warn the enemy not to waste energy on them. This confidence is well-founded. Only inexperienced or desperate cheetahs dare to chase a mature sasabi that is already on high alert. In Kruger, sasabi numbers are at an alarming level. Though common elsewhere, here they face fierce competition for food sources from other antelopes and zebras. Satara remains one of the last strongholds where visitors can witness a Formula One race between the two fastest animals of the Dark Continent. Slipping amidst the high-speed races is a diminutive but highly calculating figure, the black-backed jackal. This is one of the world's most ancient wild canines, having existed almost unchanged for the past 2 million years. Their longevity stems from adaptability and an audacity that borders on brazenness. The black-backed jackal is neither the fastest runner nor the strongest. They are master opportunists. At Satara, jackals frequently shadow the cheetah. They know that cheetahs are expert hunters, but are notoriously weak at defending their spoils. When the cheetah has just taken down prey and is panting from exhaustion, The jackal will dash in. They do not steal the entire kill, but swiftly snatch a choice morsel before fleeing. Their agility and nimbleness allow them to dodge the feeble swipes of the exhausted cat. But this relationship is not always hostile. The jackal's alarm call when detecting lions also helps the cheetah stay alert and escape in time. An admirable trait of the jackal is their fidelity. Jackal pairs bond for life, defending territory and raising offspring together. The seamless coordination between husband and wife helps them hunt prey larger than their body size, such as Impala lambs. One will distract the mother antelope, while the other rushes in to attack the young. Intelligent, cunning, and resilient. The black-backed jackal is proof that size isn't everything in the battle for survival. Intellect and the bond between individuals can become surprisingly effective weapons. Satara is also the primary stage for the most efficient predator in Africa, the African wild dog. With their unique mottled coat of black, gold, and white, they appear as running works of art. The hunting success rate of the African wild dog soars to 80%, a figure that makes even the king of the savannah, the lion, envious, given their own success rate hovers around merely 30%. Their secret lies in stamina and military-grade discipline. Wild dogs hunt using long-distance pursuit tactics. They can sustain a velocity of 60 kilometers per hour for 5 to 10 kilometers without decelerating. When targeting prey, the pack deploys and rotates the lead position. The prey is never granted a single second of rest, eventually collapsing from exhaustion and heat shock before being caught. But what makes the wild dog distinct in Kruger is not their killing prowess, but their compassion. Their society is extremely humane and cohesive. Upon returning from a hunt, healthy members perform regurgitation to feed those remaining at the den. Priority for feeding is not given to the alpha, but to the pups. They even sustain the elderly, the sick, or those with missing limbs for years. No member is left behind. The wild dog also exhibits a peculiar form of democracy. Before a hunt, the pack gathers to perform a social ritual. They cast votes by sneezing. If the number of sneezes reaches a sufficient threshold, about 10 sneezes, the pack rises in unison to set off. However, if the alpha pair initiates the rally, only 3 sneezes are required. Yet, in Kruger, wild dog numbers are in severe decline. They are listed as endangered by the IUCN. The vast home ranges required for hunting frequently bring them into conflict with lions and humans at the park's fringes. Every remaining wild dog pack at Satara is a living treasure of unity and biological efficiency. Amidst the herds of ungulates, a bizarre creature with massive two-toed feet is striding. The ostrich, the largest and heaviest bird on the planet. They are flightless, yet nature has compensated them with phenomenal running abilities. The ostrich is a direct descendant of the theropod dinosaurs. Their legs are a mechanical marvel. The tendons act like coiled springs storing elastic energy, allowing them to sprint at speeds of 70 kilometers per hour. Each stride measures up to 5 meters, helping them cover ground at breakneck speed. The ostrich foot possesses only 2 toes, whereas other birds have 3 or 4, The massive inner toe supports the entire body weight, equipped with a dagger-like claw measuring up to 10 centimeters. This is their most formidable defensive weapon. A single forward kick from an ostrich packs a force of up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. It is powerful enough to shatter a lion's skull or disembowel an enemy in a single blow. At Satara, ostriches often mingle with zebras and antelope. Standing up to 2.5 meters tall with acute vision, they act as mobile watchtowers. The ostrich's digestive system is also truly unique. Lacking teeth for chewing, they swallow pebbles and stones into their gizzard. These stones function as a grinder, crushing hard and fibrous vegetation. An adult ostrich can carry up to 1 kilogram of stones in its stomach. During the breeding season, the male performs a mesmerizing courtship dance known as Cunning. He kneels, spreads his black and white wings, and sways his bright red neck to entice the female. Yet this romantic performance is sometimes ruined by the myopic black rhino, creating tragicomic situations on the plains. Against the azure skies of Satara, streaks of vibrant carmine and turquoise dart past like arrows. The southern carmine bee-eater. These are summer migrants, bringing resplendent beauty to the arid grasslands. They are masterful aerial predators. Their primary diet consists of bees, insects, and flying beetles. The southern carmine bee-eater has developed a fascinating symbiotic relationship with the grassland's largest birds, the Cory bustard and the ostrich. One often sees the southern carmine bee-eater perching on the backs of these giants. This is not merely a joyride. As the Cory bustard or ostrich strides through the tall grass, they flush out insects into the air. From the mobile launch pad on the host's back, the bee-eater swoops out to snatch prey and returns to its position. This behavior helps them conserve energy spent on aerial foraging. The agility and acrobatic skills of the southern carmine bee-eater are an artistic spectacle. They can catch a bee mid-flight, return to a branch, and bash the prey against the wood to remove the venomous stinger before swallowing. Unlike many birds that build nests in trees, southern carmine bee-eaters are tunneling engineers. They congregate in massive colonies numbering in the thousands along riverbanks or vertical cliffs. They use their beaks and feet to excavate tunnels up to 1 to 2 meters deep into the earth to nest and lay eggs. The sight of thousands of vibrant pink birds flying in and out of their nests creates a vivid and cacophonous tableau. It is one of the most spectacular sights of the Kruger summer. Finally, a peculiar creature with an aristocratic air strides with authority across the Satara plains. The secretary bird, a specialized snake-eating avian. Its name derives from the crest of black quill-like feathers projecting from behind its head, resembling the quill pens tucked behind the ears of 19th century European secretaries. Despite possessing a broad wingspan and the flight capabilities of an eagle, the secretary bird prefers a terrestrial lifestyle. They can trek up to 20 to 30 kilometers daily in search of prey. Their diet consists of insects, lizards, rodents, and notably, venomous snakes. In Satara, home to dangerous serpents like cobras and puff adders, the secretary bird is the apex natural enemy. Their weapon is not the beak, but their interminably long legs. These legs are, in essence, armored hydraulic pistons. The shanks are clad in thick, hard scales, protecting them from venomous strikes should the snake counterattack. Upon spotting a target, the secretary bird delivers kicks with terrifying precision and velocity. The contact time of the kick is a mere 15 milliseconds, 10 times faster than the blink of a human eye. The impact force is 5 times the bird's body weight, sufficient to shatter the skull or snap the snake's spine instantly. They also utilize their broad wings as a shield to distract and deflect the snake's strikes. Another intelligent hunting strategy of the secretary bird is hunting at the fire line. During the dry season, as natural fires sweep across the grasslands, the secretary bird waits at the flame's edge. They snatch small animals fleeing in panic from the blaze. Though a symbol featured on the South African coat of arms representing protection and vigilance, secretary bird numbers are dwindling. They are classified as endangered globally. The loss of grassland habitat is the greatest threat to these flamboyant karate fighters. Four, the bush elephant and the river of giants. Leaving far behind the arid plains of Satara, we seek the source of life, Kruger's intricate network of rivers, the Sabi, the Oliphants, and the Luvuvu. These are the green lifelines amidst the scorching cauldron. But these cooling waters are not for the weak. This is the domain of the heavyweights, where weight is measured in tons and strength is gauged by destruction. One of them is the African bush elephant. Kruger stands as one of the last and greatest strongholds for this species on Earth. Weighing 6 tons and standing 4 meters tall, they are mobile fortresses with no natural predators. The ecological role of the elephant is that of a keystone species, architects of the environment. As herds move through riverine forests, they function as biological bulldozers. They topple trees, snap massive branches, and trample thickets. This action prevents canopy closure, maintaining open corridors for antelope and zebra to access water sources. During the dry season, elephants use their tusks and trunks to dig elephant wells in dry riverbeds. These water holes sustain the entire ecosystem when surface water vanishes. Elephants possess emotional intelligence and a social structure of the highest complexity. They live in a matriarchal society, led by the oldest female. The elephant brain features highly developed temporal lobes, the storage center for long-term memory. The matriarch recalls the exact location of water sources from decades past, guiding the herd through historic droughts. However, in Kruger, the success of the elephant is becoming a conundrum. Overpopulation. Elephant numbers in Kruger have exceeded 20,000 individuals, far surpassing the environment's carrying capacity. Such extreme density prevents vegetation from recovering. Ancient baobab trees thousands of years old and marula forests are being severely devastated by elephants seeking water and bark. This is an agonizing conservation paradox. When a species is protected too successfully, it can become a threat to its own habitat. Yet, witnessing a herd majestically descend to the Sabi River, spraying water in the sunset, one cannot help but be overwhelmed by the grandeur of nature. Sharing the river with the elephant is a boisterous and surly neighbor, the hippopotamus. They are often misunderstood as slow, docile creatures due to their rotund appearance. However, In reality, the hippo is the deadliest large mammal in Africa. They possess ivory canines up to 50 centimeters long, razor-sharp, and featuring a self-sharpening mechanism. The hippo's bite force reaches 2,000 pounds per square inch, sufficient to snap a crocodile in half or crush a small boat. The hippo's body is a marvel of aquatic adaptation. Their skin is extremely sensitive and hairless, highly prone to sunburn and dehydration. For protection, their bodies secrete a red mucus fluid, often mistaken for blood. In reality, these are hipposudoric and norhipposudoric acids. They act as a high-grade natural sunscreen, absorbing UV rays and possessing powerful antibacterial properties. They help wounds heal quickly in dirty water environments. A fascinating fact few people know: hippos cannot swim. Their bodies are too dense and heavy due to solid bones, causing them to sink in water. Instead, they walk or gallop along the riverbed. They propel themselves to the surface to breathe and then sink back down, a process that is automated even while sleeping. The hippo's role in the river is critically important. At night, they emerge to graze, consuming up to 40 kilograms of vegetation. By day, they return to the water and deposit massive amounts of dung. This action helps transfer nutrients from the land to the riverbed, nourishing plankton and fish populations. However, the relationship between hippos and elephants is a tense rivalry. Hippos are highly territorial underwater, but the elephant is simply too massive to be bullied. When elephants descend to drink, hippos often choose a tactical retreat, ceding space to the stronger giant. In Kruger, the greatest threat to hippos is not predators, but drought. When rivers dry up, they are forced into cramped, stagnant pools. This leads to the rapid spread of anthrax bacteria, which can kill hundreds of hippos in a single season. Camouflaged beneath layers of duckweed and mud lies the true king of the subaquatic world, the Nile crocodile. Kruger is home to the largest crocodiles in South Africa, with some individuals reaching lengths of up to 5 meters. They are the embodiment of predatory perfection, their anatomy remaining virtually unchanged for the past 200 million years. Their ultimate weapon is their bite. The measured bite force reaches 3,700 pounds per square inch, PSI, the strongest in the modern animal kingdom. The conical tooth structure allows them to grip prey tightly, ensuring no escape. Unable to chew, the crocodile employs the death roll technique. They clamp onto their prey and spin their bodies underwater to rip off large chunks of flesh. Crocodiles possess the extraordinary metabolism of an ectotherm. An adult crocodile, after a substantial meal, can go without food for months or even an entire year. They lie motionless, slowing their heart rate to the bare minimum, awaiting the next opportunity. However, the crocodile population in Kruger is facing a mysterious disease. Pansteatitis, yellow fat disease. The cause stems from water pollution and a shift in the food chain involving the consumption of toxic catfish. The crocodile's fat layer hardens, causing agony and restricting mobility, leading to mass die-offs in the Oliphant's gorge. The relationship between the crocodile and the hippo is a fragile truce. They often bask side by side in peace. Observers have even witnessed baby crocodiles climbing onto a hippo's back to bask, though this is rare and risky. But this peace is merely superficial. Crocodiles are always stalking straying hippo calves, and the mother hippo is ready to snap in two any crocodile that approaches her offspring. Furthermore, crocodiles know how to exploit the presence of other species to hunt. They often glide silently near moving hippos or Goliath herons. The water disturbance caused by these giants flushes out panicked small fish, and the crocodile simply waits with open jaws. Intelligent, patient, and ruthless, the Nile crocodile is the embodiment of the most primal fear in Kruger. In the shadows of the riverine vegetation, an agile creature moves silently. The Nile monitor, one of the few creatures daring enough to challenge the Nile crocodile. This is Africa's largest lizard, capable of reaching lengths of up to 2.2 meters. They resemble miniature dragons, possessing muscular bodies, razor-sharp claws, and long, powerful tails. The Nile monitor is the savannah's ultimate triathlete. They sprint across the ground at blistering speeds. They scale trees with the dexterity of a monkey, aided by curved claws. And underwater, they swim masterfully, using their laterally compressed tail as a paddle, able to hold their breath for up to 1 hour. This versatility transforms them into formidable opportunistic predators and scavengers. But their absolute delicacy, and the reason they are the crocodile's public enemy #1, is eggs. Nile monitors are professional egg thieves. Mother crocodiles are devoted guardians, but they cannot stand watch 24/7. In the brief moment the mother slips into the water to cool off, the monitor seizes the opportunity. Using a hypersensitive sense of smell and a snake-like forked tongue, they pinpoint nests buried deep within the sand. With powerful forelegs, they dig in a frenzy, unearthing the nutritious eggs and devouring them whole. Scientists estimate that monitors destroy up to 50% of crocodile eggs each breeding season. They serve as a natural pressure valve, controlling the population of the dominant reptile. However, the life of a thief is never easy. If intercepted by the mother, the monitor is crushed in an instant. They live on the razor's edge of survival, relying on speed and cunning to exist in the shadow of giants. The savannah is never short of lethal hunters. The lion, the leopard, the hyena, 3 dominant forces, 3 masterclasses in survival strategy. Lion, leopard, hyena, three seekers, 3 dominants. Within this wildlife documentary, the most primal connections will be brought to light. Welcome to Lion versus Leopard versus Hyena. Game of Thrones in the Savannah Kingdom. At the heart of the savannah, nature never hands out a free pass for mercy. People often label this as uncompromising, but in truth, it more closely resembles a risk management system. The name of the game is quite simple. If you are not the one enjoying a meal, then you are the one on the menu. The struggle for the right of succession. This is one of the most magnificent and elusive antelope species on the savannah. With horns that can reach up to 1.2 meters, every impact delivers the weight of a small truck in motion. They are striving to become the father of the next generation. But when you give 100% of your focus to the opponent in front of you, you leave 0% awareness for what is creeping up from behind. She has no concern for who comes out on top in that clash of horns. To her, they are simply two potential meals, tenderizing themselves through sheer exhaustion. With night vision 6 times more effective than a human's and speeds reaching 80 kilometers per hour in short bursts, she is the reason why a loss of focus on the savannah always leads to a final curtain call. These little ones are the ultimate reason for the hunt. A lioness, after all, is moving forward based on survival and the continuation of her legacy. Meet her husband, the king. Lions call the shots through a sophisticated social structure. A lion pride is an organized army, built on a strict division of tasks and unwavering loyalty. In this realm, order is supreme. When a dominant male lion steps forward, the rest of the group falls silent. When a bountiful feast is available, the alpha male is the first to partake, whether or not the pride was responsible for bringing the meal home. A full-grown hippopotamus weighs nearly 3 tons. It is a vast treasure chest that this lion pride will draw from over the next 3 days. An outsider female has caught the scent of the meal, and she wants a piece of the action. When the well-being of the cubs is put to the test, the true nature of the monarchy comes to light. To protect these little princes, the male lions form ironclad alliances. A pride consists of up to 5 males who are typically brothers. The males are constantly patrolling their territory, keeping an eye out for wanderers who might try to claim the pride. The more crowded the territory is with other lions, the more the brothers must stick together. To secure a meal as large as a wildebeest, a spotted hyena needs at least 3 to 4 companions by its side. Yet within their rather loose social structure, each individual is giving it their all. Scientific data reveals that spotted hyenas successfully secure over 60% of their own nourishment, a success rate that for a lion is nothing to sneeze at. Welcome to the matriarchal world of the hyena. In this realm, the females hold all the cards. The females are larger, more assertive, and carry higher levels of testosterone than their male counterparts. Their social structure is a complex web of constant maneuvering for status. They are many in number, yet they aren't truly joined at the hip. Listen to that sound. That is the force of 9,000 newtons of pressure from those jaws. The spotted hyena lets nothing go to waste, bones, horns, or hooves. Their digestive systems are so robust, they can process even the sturdiest fragments of calcium. However, within a hyena clan, the concept of sharing is quite a rare luxury. This is an extreme version of a free market economy. It is every man for himself, and the quickest mouth wins. Rivalry serves as the very glue that holds their society together. They stand together for the hunt, but they won't hesitate to jostle for position to claim the finest prize. A collective of self-interested individuals operating with remarkable efficiency under the guidance of an Iron Queen. While the lion lets out a deep roar to show off and the hyena laughs to cause a stir, this third figure chooses the path of silence. The leopard, the ghost of the savannah. This is a completely different kind of presence. No pride, no alliances, and no need for a stamp of approval from anyone else. Its strategy is built entirely on staying completely out of sight. The leopard's strength is found in its solitude. Without a pride for protection, even a small scratch could lead to a journey toward the point of no return. Therefore, it always plays it safe. The leopard doesn't engage in the tiring pursuits of the hyena. It measures every last millimeter. It is a master of spatial geometry, always calculating the most perfect angle for its approach. And when it makes its move, everything is settled in the blink of an eye, before the other party even knows what happened. Take a close look at this technique. A leopard weighing 60 kilograms can pull a prize twice its own weight high into the branches to avoid the gaze of thieves. That is its own special rule. Use camouflage to begin and vanish when the work is finished. In this kingdom, power wears many faces. An authoritative king, a scheming crowd, or a solitary ghost. All are preparing for the upcoming encounters, where boundaries will be redrawn through endless struggles for balance. If the floor of the savannah is a chessboard filled with pitfalls, then the acacia tree is the one piece that allows the leopard to step outside the lines of the usual rules. In the eyes of a seeker, this tree serves as a fortress. Yet this stronghold only opens its doors to those who are truly up to the task. To a male lion or a hyena, the acacia tree is a bothersome hurdle, a reminder that their supreme authority has a very clear physical boundary, gravity. But for the leopard, this tree is its saving grace, a path to rise above the demanding realities of the world below. We are witnessing a survival boundary defined by height. An uneven struggle where being the strongest doesn't necessarily mean you rule the roost at the top level. Let's talk about the technical side. To dominate the heights, the leopard has evolved in a completely different direction from its distant relatives. They possess highly developed fast-twitch muscle fibers and a shoulder blade structure that isn't locked to the collarbone, allowing for an unbelievable range of motion. This is the golden ticket to the higher levels of the savannah. With this design, a leopard weighing 60 kilograms can carry a prize twice its own body weight straight up to a branch 5 meters high. It is a true marvel of strength relative to body size. Meanwhile, let's look at our king of the ground. The lion's shoulder blades are designed to be a high-impact launch pad. They must withstand head-on encounters with tons of weight from buffalo or zebras, pinning a massive prize to the earth with sheer force. Lionesses are capable of climbing, and sometimes they are at the top of their game, but they cannot live in the trees. The 190-kilogram body of a male is simply too much of a burden for branches that spend all day in the sun. This boundary is where a game of hide and seek plays out every single day. Lions seek out leopards to clear the air of future trouble. Every leopard removed is one less competitor for resources within the territory. It is a display of absolute physical dominance. 190 kilograms against 60 kilograms. If the leopard cannot reach the bark within the next 3 seconds, its story will reach its conclusion with a single swift motion. Observe the frustration of the ground-dwelling monarch. The lion knows that just 2 more meters would put him in the driver's seat. Yet those 2 meters are as vast as an ocean. Up above, the leopard is catching its breath, heart racing fast enough to burst, but it has found safety. In the savannah, every day spent above ground is a gift from nature. Securing a full-grown leopard takes a great deal of effort, but the little ones are another story. When a lion takes the life of a leopard's cub, it is a strategic military campaign. The lion ensures that 5 years down the road, his own offspring won't have to share a single antelope with a rival. Recent data from the Panthera research project in 2025 in the Sabi Sands region has brought a startling figure to light. Lions are the reason behind more than 20% of adult leopards reaching the end of their journey, and that number is significantly higher for the young. This is a struggle of attrition. Lions don't feel the need to play fair, they only care about coming out on top. For the leopard mother, this heartache is the price of walking a solitary path. She lacks a powerful army to watch her back. Out here, every mistake comes at the cost of the future. The leopard is the only large feline capable of holding its own within the lion's reach, thanks entirely to its exceptional climbing abilities. But the acacia tree cannot offer its sanctuary forever. You must descend to the earth to find water, to secure a meal and to travel. Every time those padded paws make contact with the soil, the clock of fate begins its countdown. Do not judge the lion for its unyielding nature. Understand that in this realm, showing mercy is viewed as a genetic disadvantage. If you permit a rival to reach maturity, you are essentially undermining your own lineage. The lion maintains its grip on the landscape through intimidation and force. The leopard preserves its existence through cleverness and the cover of shadows. These two worlds frequently cross paths at the base of the acacia tree, the meeting point between hope and finality. This territorial struggle has endured for millions of years and will continue to unfold. A king never lets his guard down on the throne, and a ghost never ceases its watch from the heights. But take care, for at the lower tiers of the social hierarchy, another force is beginning to rise. A force that operates through sheer numbers and wild, haunting laughter. And that is when the plot thickens as the next piece on the board is revealed. Welcome to the most demanding phase of the kingdom, the dry season. At this time, the savannah is no longer an expansive playground. It has transformed into a massive barometer where the pressure of staying the course raises the stakes with every hour of intense sun. Water is gold, but energy is diamonds. Here, we are about to witness a face-off that is not rooted in innate rivalry like that of the lion, but rather in an uncompromising energy economy. The leopard is a refined artist, while the spotted hyena is a calculated thief. In this kingdom, there isn't a single moment where one can afford to let their guard down, because lavish feasts can easily be claimed before they even truly get off the ground. If there is no prize or fallen animal between them, hyenas and leopards seem like total strangers. They respect the peace. This is a clear case of weighing the pros and cons. Making it through the savannah dry season is a challenge hard enough as it is, and right now, peace is the best path for everyone involved. However, this politeness goes out the window the moment the scent of a fresh meal fills the air. When the hyena claims the prize, it isn't just taking away a meal, it is pushing the leopard into a precarious energy debt. If this pattern repeats too often, the price is physical exhaustion and a permanent rest. Sometimes when a hyena is working solo, the leopard chooses to cool its heels, waiting for its chance to enjoy the very meal it brought home in the first place. But the leopard did not evolve to be a permanent underdog. It possesses a specialized method to stand its ground against this greed. If it were not for the trees and this extraordinary climbing ability, the leopard might have been left out in the cold on the evolutionary map millions of years ago because of the spotted hyena's persistence. The tree is more than just a fortress for evading the lion. It acts as a vault for securing assets. By lifting its prize into the branches, the the leopard places its meal well beyond the reach of those who do not have a ticket to the top floor. This is an evolutionary adaptation that is par for the course when dealing with the constant pressure of losing one's hard-earned gains. Look there, the hyenas below are attempting to leap up, but their hip structure is designed for endurance running on the soil, not for mastering heights. The leopard can now take its time and enjoy the results of its labor, a victory of cleverness and agility over the sheer strength of a crowd. Never underestimate the patience of a ghost when it is backed into a corner. When the frequency of these thefts starts to up the ante, the lurking seeker has its own ways of reclaiming what was lost. During this intense dry season, the line between the taker and the provider starts to blur. Everyone is a debtor in terms of energy, simply trying to keep their head above water and make it through the day. The relationship between the leopard and the spotted hyena is a dance of deep suspicion. One side represents the pinnacle of individual talent, while the other stands for the power of persistence and the strength of the group. They keep each other in check, maintaining a delicate balance across the grasslands. But bear in mind, the quietness of this struggle is merely a brief intermission. Because as the dry season reaches its peak and watering holes become nothing more than muddy traps of finality, another encounter, broader and more intense, is about to unfold. The game of hide and seek has reached its end. Now it is time for the moment of truth through head-on confrontations. When the need for nourishment and hydration reaches a make-or-break point, the rules will be rewritten with tooth and claw. Brace yourselves, because the kingdom is about to experience a fiery struggle between the dominant seekers of the land. The forest fire, radiant, overpowering, and unstoppable when at its peak. It sweeps across the grassland with explosive power, clearing all resistance with absolute authority. But every fire must eventually run its course. That is when the rare raindrops arrive, leaving behind ashes and the hope of a fresh start. The king governs his realm with the bold, intense spirit of one who possesses overwhelming strength. The hyena pack, boisterous and persistent, will seize the moment whenever an opportunity to take control arises. The latest data from Etosha National Park in the year 2024 has confirmed a sobering reality. More than 70% of adult hyena losses are not caused by illness or hunger, but are brought about by the lion. Lions take down hyenas but almost never consume them. They do so out of pure disdain. This powerful bite is enough to break down the spinal structure of any creature. The lion believes it has concluded a life's journey. It has finished its duty as a monarch, disciplining the intruder. But hold your horses. Don't be so quick to sign the final papers for this opportunist. That is why they say a hyena is a tough nut to crack. The physical build of the spotted hyena is a marvel of endurance. With a hide as thick as armor and a skeletal system with remarkably high calcium density, they are designed to survive through forceful encounters. The final slumber is sometimes merely a suggestion for the hyena, not an inevitability. Its vitality isn't just in its breath, but in a level of persistence that is truly second to none. The hyena may be heavily pressured, yet it makes its exit. It is simply biding its time for a different opening. When the wind gathers enough force, it transforms into a whirlwind. The spotted hyena understands the math of strength in numbers perfectly. A young male lion lacks a thick mane to safeguard his neck, and he is still a bit wet behind the ears when facing such clever adversaries. Amidst a storm of laughter, the once arrogant figure has lost its most prized reward. This game of power is an eternal cycle. The lion may rule the day with fire, but the hyena possesses time. They wait with great patience. They wait until the king's legs are no longer swift enough and his teeth lose their edge. Hyena doesn't need to be stronger than the lion at its peak. It simply needs to go the distance. They are the ones who witness the sunset of every dynasty. When the final flame fades, the wind will sweep away the ashes of pride and usher in an era of chaos. The struggle between the sovereign and the insurgent will go on until the end of time. But the savannah is home to far more than just these massive figures. In the secluded corners of the grasslands, beneath the dense thickets, other specialists are quietly carving out their own legacy of survival. These are the ones who race against the clock at the very edge of existence, true masters of velocity and finesse. Brace yourselves, for we are about to step into the world of these highly specialized experts. If the lion is the heavy infantry, then these are the special operations units, the ones possessing peculiar biological upgrades to call the shots within the narrow margins of survival. In this savannah, when you lack the brawn to go toe-to-toe, you must possess smarter software or a faster engine. Let's kick things off with nature's very own Formula One race car. Anatomically speaking, the cheetah is a marvel of biomechanics. Its nostrils expand to the fullest to pull in a massive intake of oxygen for its lungs and a heart that is remarkably oversized for its frame. Its spine acts like a highly elastic bow, allowing for a stride that reaches 7 meters. And take a look at that tail. Recent biophysics research shows that long, heavy tail functions as a gyroscopic rudder, helping it maintain perfect balance during 90-degree turns at 100 kilometers per hour without losing its footing. But this specialization comes with an Achilles heel. Their claws are non-retractable and cannot stay razor-sharp, meaning they lack those built-in blades for self-protection or climbing like the leopard. The cheetah is simply an elite sprinter. In the Masai Mara, a stern rule of nature exists: interspecies competition. The leopard isn't just a difficult neighbor, it's an enforcer. After a full-speed burst, a cheetah enters a state of biological overheating. Its body temperature can rise to a concerning level, and it needs at least 20 minutes to recover. This is when it is most vulnerable, and the leopard, possessing fast twitch muscle fibers paired with explosive power, knows it all too well. In a face-to-face encounter, the leopard will engage the cheetah to remove a competitor from the same food source. With the rate of loss for young ones reaching 90% because of the lion and hyena, every moment spent honing hunting skills is a precious chance for survival. The mother is teaching them how to locate the vital spot on the prey's neck, how to regulate their breathing, and how to keep their balance. It is a transfer of mastery among those living on the edge. This is the final touch. The cheetah doesn't use brute force to bring down its target. It uses momentum. By tripping the prey at high speeds, they turn the prey's own velocity into a tool against it. A perfect mathematical calculation between centrifugal force and gravity. If the cheetah is a standout individual, then the African wild dog is an unbreakable collective mind. This is the predator with the highest efficiency in the natural world, with a success rate reaching 80%, far outstripping the lion at only 30%. Their secret lies in synchronization. They don't hunt alone. They move as a pack for a single purpose, staying on the same page. Every member of the pack knows their position and role like the back of their hand. When one grows weary, another surges forward to take the lead. This is the ultimate tactic of persistent pursuit. They don't need to be the fastest. They only need to keep going longer than your lungs can hold out. Observe how they handle this formidable warthog. There is no chaos. One group secures the front, while another engages from the rear. Most unique is their food-sharing system. Unlike the lion or hyena, African wild dogs prioritize the pups and the weary by providing nourishment from their own catch. It is a structure built on selflessness, a rare sight in these dog-eat-dog wildlands. However, this unity comes with a cost. African wild dogs are highly sensitive to health challenges like rabies and are consistently pursued by lions whenever the chance arises. It is a delicate existence, resting upon the strength of the ties that bind. Welcome to the air defense system of the savannah, the caracal, Africa's lynx-like feline. Don't judge a book by its cover when it comes to its modest size. Take a look at those tufts of hair on the ears. They are certainly not just for show. Recent research indicates they function as sound-amplifying devices or air current sensors, helping them pinpoint the exact location of their targets even in the dark. The true power is found in the hind legs. With muscle bundles featuring the highest density of fast-twitch fibers in the feline family, it can leap up to 3 meters from a stationary position. It possesses the capability to intercept birds right out of the air with a swipe that happens in the blink of an eye. This is a flawless combination of physics and neural reflexes, a hunter that doesn't require a pack because it is a complete precision instrument in a league of its own. And here is its kin, the serval. If the caracal is a fighter jet, the serval is a ground-based sonar system that is in a league of its own. Its ear-to-head size ratio is the largest within the cat family. It is all ears, capable of detecting the footsteps of a rodent scurrying through underground tunnels at a depth of 20 centimeters. Its pouncing leap is far more than a simple catch. It is a calculated mechanical impact that hits the mark to instantly neutralize the target's spine. With a success rate of 50% in solo hunts, it flies under the radar as one of the most efficient yet least recognized seekers in the wild. A true master of finesse. And finally, last but not least, we have the black-backed jackal, the craftiest diplomat of all. Not quite as swift as the cheetah, nor as powerful as the leopard, yet it possesses an exceptionally adaptable mind. It is the one that knows exactly when to be a seeker, when to be a scavenger, and when to wait for the dust to settle while the heavyweights clash to reap the benefits. A pure opportunist, surviving through its incredible ability to read the room. These seekers, no matter how sophisticated, are merely residents in a city governed by giants. There are entities in this savannah that no amount of speed or hearing can overcome. The speed of the cheetah, the endurance of the African wild dog, the reflexes of the caracal, the hearing of the serval, and the craftiness of the jackal. All have painted a perfect picture of life's diversity. But remember, these specialists are only one part of the story. For right behind these elite seekers, the mobile fortresses of the savannah are awakening. Those who need no concealment and no speed, for they themselves represent the ultimate boundary of nature's power. We have spent far too much time praising those who wear the crown, or those master hunters equipped with sharp claws and keen teeth. But let us take a look at the other side of the coin. Thriving is not measured by the power of a snap, but by the quickness of reflexes and the collective cleverness of the group. If the hunters are seasoned poker players, then the residents of the savannah are true experts in mathematics. They calculate probabilities, make the most of the landscape, and use their own heightened awareness to create defensive strategies that give even the most confident lion or leopard a run for their money. If there is any animal that looks like it was assembled from the bits and pieces of others, it is the blue wildebeest. A few horns from a buffalo, the head of a cow, the mane of a horse, and a beard that would make even the hipsters in New York green with envy. But do not be too quick to laugh. This fellow is the very heart and soul of the savannah ecosystem. Every year, about 1.5 million individuals undertake a grand journey of more than 1,000 kilometers. That collective march is a strategy called the selfish herd. In the world of the blue wildebeest, they do not need to be faster than the lion. They only need to be faster than the less fortunate companion beside them. By gathering into massive groups, they ensure the probability of any single individual being singled out is kept to an absolute minimum. Through global positioning system tracking devices in 2024, biologists discovered that the migrations of the blue wildebeest are not random at all. They possess a form of swarm intelligence that is incredibly sensitive to the slightest changes in moisture and greenery. They can sense rainfall dozens of kilometers away. Even the way they welcome new life is a survival strategy. Within a brief window of only 2 to 3 weeks, more than 500,000 young ones are born. This is known as predator swamping. A hunter might find a meal in 1, 10, or 100 of them, but they simply cannot make a dent in 500,000 within a few weeks. This species also has a very clever alliance with the plains zebra. While the plains zebra has excellent vision during the day, the blue wildebeest possesses superb hearing and a keen sense of smell. They form a multi-layered early warning system. If their striped neighbor stops to stare intently into the brush, this bearded fellow knows instantly that it is time to hit the ground running. The black and white stripes on every zebra serve as a unique fingerprint. Scientists have studied and proposed a wide variety of theories. Among these, one theory highlights the phenomenon known as motion dazzle. When the entire herd of plains zebra runs together at 60 kilometers per hour, these stripes blend into a complex visual puzzle. For a lurking lion, figuring out the distance, speed, and even the boundary where one zebra ends and another begins becomes a tough nut to crack. But those are not the only ways a zebra manages to stay ahead of the curve. These animals are true warriors with a remarkably tight social structure. Unlike the more loose organization of the blue wildebeest, the plains zebra lives in harems, a small family unit led by a single stallion with several females and their young. The lead male is not just there for show, he is a bold guardian. When facing a challenge, he will not hesitate to stand his ground at the rear, ready to deliver kicks with a force of nearly 1,500 kilograms per square centimeter. A well-placed strike can severely injure an adult lion's jaw, making it quite difficult for the hunter to sustain itself. When it comes to their diet, they are the ones who lead the way. With their hindgut fermenter digestive system, they can process the coarsest and least nutritious parts of the grass. They move through first, clearing away the tough, older layers to open a path for other residents to reach the tender shoots underneath. A dedicated protector, a tireless trailblazer, and a master of visual trickery. The plains zebra proves that in the game of staying secure, sometimes standing out in a big way is the best way to play it safe. The impala's leap is a direct challenge to fate itself. A full-grown impala can soar as high as 3 meters, roughly the equivalent of an average person leaping right over the head of a National Basketball Association player. And it can also cover a distance of 10 meters in a single bound. A masterclass in psychological tactics known as stotting. There are special scent glands located on the ankles of an impala. When they perform those twisting leaps through the air, these glands release a specific pheromone into the breeze. Other members of the herd can follow this scent trail and keep their formation even during the confusion of a nighttime encounter when visibility is almost non-existent. An olfactory global positioning system, simply incredible. And impalas are also exceptional multitaskers. They are mixed feeders, meaning they graze on the grass and also browse on leaves from trees depending on the season. This helps them stay in peak condition all year round, while other species might struggle during the dry spells. However, maintaining a spot in a harem is no walk in the park. A lead male can be responsible for up to 100 females, and the cost is immense exhaustion from constantly standing guard and facing off against bachelors looking to take over his position. As a result, these fellows often deal with much higher stress levels and more parasites because they simply do not have the time for personal grooming. It truly is a case of, with great power comes great responsibility, or perhaps more accurately, being more likely to burn the candle at both ends and be caught due to exhaustion. If the savannah ecosystem is a massive construction site, then the giraffe is the mobile crane of the plains. Standing nearly 6 meters tall, they are not just there to pluck the tastiest young leaves from the tops of acacia trees that other residents cannot reach. They serve as the 24/7 security surveillance system for the entire grassland. With a panoramic view and high-definition visual clarity, a giraffe can spot a lurking lion from more than 1 kilometer away. To pump blood up that remarkably long neck, their hearts must generate blood pressure twice as high as a human's. They also possess incredibly dense collagen fibers in their legs, which act like a pilot's compression suit, preventing blood from pooling at the bottom due to gravity. When their back is against the wall, the giraffe transforms into a heavy-duty combat machine. Those legs are nothing short of sledgehammers. A direct strike from a giraffe carries the impact of tons of muscle, enough to severely compromise the skull or spine of an adult lion in the blink of an eye. Even the most experienced lion prides will think twice before deciding to make an adult giraffe their evening meal. However, the price of greatness is a certain level of vulnerability. As the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The moment they stop for a drink is a true moment of truth. To bring their mouth down to the ground, they must awkwardly splay their front legs, putting their body in a state of complete imbalance. At this point, their center of gravity is completely off kilter. This is the moment the ambushers of the savannah have been waiting for. The strategy of the lion pride is not to overpower them immediately. That would be a tall order. They seek to cause panic, hoping to make this giant stumble or lose its footing. Once that body weighing more than 1 ton collapses to the earth, every advantage of height and those thunderous kicks goes up in smoke. The magnificent neck that once allowed it to see across the entire grassland now becomes a critical point of vulnerability, held fast by dozens of sharp teeth. It is a somber conclusion. yet it is the uncompromising rule of balance. The peak of evolution sometimes comes hand in hand with the deepest of valleys. In contrast to the giraffe, that giant who makes seekers of a meal strain their necks looking up, the warthog is a creature that forces even the proudest hunters like the leopard or lion to literally get down on its level. To catch this short fellow, those big cats must crawl close to the ground, enduring the sweltering heat of the earth and the prickly bushes brushing against their bellies. Thriving is sometimes a game of lowering one's center of gravity, and the warthog is a master of that game. With a neck that is too short compared to its legs, the warthog must kneel on its two front legs to graze. This posture allows it to eat while remaining ready to dash away like an arrow at the drop of a hat. When it senses a potential challenge, the warthog activates its survival antenna, a tail held straight up. This is the alarm signal for the whole family to keep an eye out. The warthog can reach speeds of 48 kilometers per hour. Not a bad figure for a fellow with such a sturdy appearance. When its back is against the wall, it seeks out a burrow, often borrowed from an aardvark. Instead of diving in head first and exposing its softer side, the warthog spins around, letting those razor-sharp tusks point directly outward. Their lower teeth are actually a pair of self-sharpening daggers. Any seeker foolish enough to peer into the burrow will immediately receive a sharp greeting. Facing a dark burrow with two blades waiting, a wise hunter will know when to call it a day. The warthog also possesses an excellent spatial memory. They remember the locations of dozens of burrows within their territory, so they always have an escape plan within 100 meters. It is a true warrior. One who knows how to turn the bumps on its face into a shield and transform a narrow burrow into a highly secure fortress. In this realm, there exists an elite class that even the most confident hunters must give a wide berth. They are the giants, the architects, and the living archives of this vast continent. They understand the savannah not through an instinct to pursue, but through a wealth of knowledge gathered over many decades. And the African bush elephant stands as the true king of the savannah. A 6,000-kilogram presence carrying the wisdom of a sage. When this 4-meter-tall giant approaches the watering hole, the lion pride will quietly give them their due and move aside without any argument. That trunk is strong enough to uproot a massive tree, yet delicate enough to pick up a single blade of grass. But what truly makes the African bush elephant essentially untouchable comes from their 5-kilogram brain. The latest neurological studies in 2024 confirmed that their hippocampus, the memory storage center, is developed above and beyond the norm. A matriarch can recall the exact location of a watering hole that she visited only once, 30 years ago. During the dry season, that memory is the fine line between thriving and simply losing one's way for the entire clan. While we are preoccupied with 5G networks, elephants have been using an infrasound network for millions of years. They emit low-frequency sounds that the human ear cannot detect, but which can travel up to 10 kilometers through the earth. When a herd in the north finds water, relatives in the south can already feel those vibrations through their sensitive feet. A perfect internal communication system without the need for any signal towers. However, do not mistake their calm and wisdom for a lack of strength. A bull elephant in a state of must, a phase where testosterone levels soar to 60 times the normal amount, is a force to be reckoned with. At that time, even armored off-road vehicles or the most aggressive rhinoceroses are merely toys to be crushed under their intense power. Scientists in 2025 have also just announced a new role for them: climate guardians. By clearing small trees and thinning out the brush, they help larger trees absorb more carbon while creating space for biodiversity. Every footstep they take can set the stage for reshaping an entire continent. Another giant, not the largest like the elephant, but given a formidable nickname by blacksmiths and hunters alike, the Black Shadow. With a weight reaching nearly 900 kilograms and standing 1.5 meters at the shoulder, this fellow is a literal biological tank. Its horns, referred to as the boss, are actually a solid mass of bone connected directly to the skull. This is an unbreakable natural helmet. If the strength of the elephant lies in wisdom, then what makes the Cape buffalo truly imposing is its memory and its tendency to hold a grudge. Behavioral studies in 2024 confirmed a trait that the scientific community calls calculated retribution. If a lion confronts a member of the herd, the Cape buffalo will not forget. They may actively seek out that lion pride, surrounding and settling the score with the young ones of their rivals, even when not provoked. It is a psychological game where the resident sometimes becomes the most unwavering hunter of all. Science in 2025 has also revealed a remarkably democratic social structure within the massive Cape buffalo herds at Kruger National Park. They cast a ballot to decide which way to move. Mature females will stand up, face the direction they wish to travel, and then lie down in that direction. Whichever direction receives the most votes, the entire herd will follow suit to call the shots together. Unlike others who might show patience, the Cape buffalo is incredibly spirited and hard to read. An older solitary male, often called a dagger boy, is the most unpredictable presence you might encounter on the plains. With nothing left to lose and a spirit full of scars, he has a chip on his shoulder and will charge anything that enters his cold gaze. Thriving for the Cape buffalo is not about running away. It is about choosing to stand your ground, lowering those horns and staring directly at a rival with a silent message. I may fall today, but you certainly will not be getting back up. An aging, spirited warrior who possesses a steely mind to write his own rules on the savannah. Weighing 3,000 kilograms, ranking third in size among land-dwelling residents, and holding the record for the highest number of intense interactions with humans in Africa. That is the hippopotamus, the unmatched presence of every river who is often a force to be reckoned with. A yawn from a hippopotamus is a direct word of caution. Those tusks are pure instruments of strength, capable of passing through the thick hide of any resident foolish enough to overlook their boundaries. An interesting paradox is that this stout-looking creature does not actually swim in the traditional sense. They are simply too heavy to stay buoyant. Instead, they jog along the riverbed, a powerful form of underwater galloping. While on land, they can still reach speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour. A spirited hippopotamus could catch up to an Olympic athlete in a heartbeat. Every night, the hippo leaves the water to graze on up to 40 kilograms of grass, and then, yes, they deposit a massive amount of nutrients back into the river, providing up to 70% of the silica needed by algae and fish downstream. They are essentially nutrient conveyor belts connecting the land and the water. However, the temperament of this species is a different kettle of fish. They can easily get hot under the collar and possess an ego even larger than their massive frames. A male hippopotamus will not hesitate to confront a motorboat or even a lion simply because that fellow dared to stand in the way of its path to the water. Imagine you are a tank weighing 2,000 kilograms, possessing a pair of razor-sharp horns, but having the eyesight of someone who left their glasses at home. Welcome to the confusing world of the rhinoceros. If the African bush elephant is a sage, the rhinoceros is like a spirited neighbor who woke up on the wrong side of the bed and is ready to pick a quarrel with anything that moves. Including a bush, a pile of rocks, or even your Jeep. Their philosophy for thriving is simple. If you are not sure what it is, give it a firm nudge first. A rhinoceros's vision is so limited that they cannot distinguish a person from a tree trunk at a distance of 30 meters. But to make up for their modest sight, they possess hearing and a sense of smell so sharp they can detect your heartbeat from the other side of the brush. Here we have two main lineages, the white rhinoceros and the black rhinoceros. Do not let the names lead you astray, as both are actually the same shade of gray. The difference is all in the mouth. The white rhinoceros has a wide lip like a vacuum cleaner, perfectly suited for short grass. Meanwhile, the black rhinoceros has a pointed, nimble lip for plucking thorny leaves. Beside the rhinoceros are their personal bodyguards, the oxpecker birds. They do not just feast on skin parasites. They act as an early warning system. When these birds suddenly take wing and screech, that is when the armored knight knows it is time to lower its horn and begin a spirited charge. The horn of a rhinoceros is a solid mass of keratin, yet it is strong enough to pierce right through the door of an armored car. And although they may seem slow, a rhinoceros can reach speeds of 55 kilometers per hour in just a few seconds. That is 2 tons of muscle moving with the momentum of a high-end electric motorcycle. Sadly, their greatest challenge to thriving is not with the lion, but with those who pursue them unlawfully. The latest data shows that conservation efforts using global positioning system technology and strict protection in private reserves are helping the white rhinoceros population see a modest recovery. But the black rhinoceros is still on thin ice, with fewer than 6,500 individuals remaining. A solitary giant, easily stirred but incredibly delicate when faced with human ambition. The rhinoceros is a reminder that even the thickest armor cannot fully protect you from the harsh nature of the modern world. If you think those giants on land are formidable, take a look down into the murky currents of the Mara River. The Nile crocodile is a masterpiece of design from an era as old as the hills. This fellow has not required a single update for 65 million years. With a low profile but a length reaching 5 meters and a weight of 750 kilograms, the Nile crocodile is the definition of staying under the radar. It can remain out of sight in water only 30 centimeters deep without leaving so much as a ripple. Its heart features a special valve that allows it to remain below the surface for more than 2 hours without needing to draw a breath. It does not chase after its dinner. It simply waits for someone to make that one mistake of a lifetime, bending down to take a single sip of water. The measured force of an adult's bite reaches 34,500 kilopascals, which is like having the weight of a heavy-duty truck pressing down on an area no larger than a coin. Once those jaws are locked, it is the end of the line. And if that pressure is not enough to conclude the journey for the visitor, it will employ its signature move, the ultimate spin. By spinning its body at high speed, it uses its own weight and momentum to ensure no escape is possible. However, do not view this fellow as just a brainless machine for ending life cycles. The Nile crocodile also possesses a level of cleverness that is second to none. They memorize the seasonal movements of other residents and even know how to work together to surround schools of fish or block the path of those crossing the river. As the great caretakers of the river, they consume remains and keep the water source from being affected by illness. They are the guardians of the current, the silent giants who ensure the pulse of the savannah never skips a beat. In contrast to their stern methods of pursuit, these cold-blooded beings are some of the most devoted parents on the savannah. A mother will gently use those same jaws that could crush the bones of an elephant to carry her hatchlings, bringing them safely to the water. It is a contrast that truly takes the cake in the natural world. If the grasslands are the muscles of the savannah, then the river is its very lifeblood. This is a place where the final chapter of a journey is written by more than just bites, weighing several tons or intense, forceful charges. Here, we play by a different set of rules. The name of the game is cleverness, calculation, and spectacular stealthy maneuvers. With a length that can reach 2.2 meters, the Nile monitor is the largest lizard on the continent, and it also possesses a mind just as sharp as its sleek appearance. In the world of the savannah, seeking a confrontation with a mature Nile crocodile is a risky business. But the Nile monitor is not interested in such a meeting. It is interested in the treasure the mother crocodile is watching over beneath the warm sand. The Nile monitor is a top-tier entry specialist. Using its forked tongue to taste the scent of life, it can pinpoint the exact location of a crocodile's nest, even when it is perfectly hidden. Nile monitors often travel in pairs to carry out organized heists. One will play the role of the distraction, making a deliberate appearance to draw the mother crocodile away from the nest in a futile chase. While the ruler of the river is busy following the decoy, the accomplice will quietly dig and feast on the protein-rich eggs. A perfect diversionary tactic, but do not think they are only good at taking what is not theirs. Nile monitors are also versatile athletes. They can move across the land at an impressive pace, climb trees like a seasoned pro, and navigate the waters with a tail that functions like a powerful rudder. They can hold their breath underwater for up to 30 minutes to find fish, or steer clear of those who might present a challenge. Their teeth change shape as they grow older. When they are young, they have sharp teeth for catching fish and insects. As they mature, their teeth become broader and less pointed to crush the shells of snails and turtles. Nature has provided them with a versatile dining kit to thrive through every stage of life. While the Nile crocodile rules with sheer strength, the Nile monitor rules with agility and the ability to think on their feet. It serves as a reminder that in the journey of life, having a sharp mind can sometimes be more potent than a set of keen teeth. A clever thief, a track athlete, and a master of opportunity. This is the tireless pulse of the riverbanks. But in the world of wings, this land dragon is merely a light snack. The Nile monitor can stand its ground against a graceful saddle-billed stork, but there are some before whom even the most spirited residents will hesitate. When the long shadow of the marabou stork falls, the game is up. Standing 1.5 meters tall, this is one of the largest birds on the planet. With its patchy bald head, a hanging throat pouch, and a charcoal grey cloak of feathers across its shoulders, the marabou stork resembles an undertaker straight out of a 19th century horror novel. People call them the ugliest birds in the world. But in this demanding savannah, good looks do not help a resident keep their belly full. Within the river ecosystem, they are the ultimate cleanup crew. Wherever a life journey reaches its natural conclusion, there you will find the marabou stork. They stand there, silent and patient, like ancient statues, waiting for the lion prides to move on and for the vultures to open the toughest layers. They are the final link, ensuring that nothing goes to waste, preventing the spread of unhealthy conditions by taking care of even the most weathered remains. But do not be mistaken, it is not merely a taker of leftovers. The marabou stork is a profound and opportunistic hunter. That massive beak can process bone, pass through thick hide, and encompass smaller neighbors, from fish and frogs to unfortunate young chicks, in the blink of an eye. Their stark white legs are actually covered in a layer of uric acid from their own waste. Science refers to this phenomenon as urohydrosis. By utilizing this method, they use evaporation to keep their blood cool in the sweltering African heat. It is a temperature control system that might be a bit messy, but it truly hits the mark. The latest observation data from 2025 shows that the marabou stork is rapidly expanding its territory thanks to its remarkable ability to adjust. They possess hollow bones in their legs and wings, which reduces their weight so they can soar for hours on warm air currents without breaking a sweat. Amidst a savannah filled with those who display their strength, the marabou stork exists as a quiet reminder of the cycle of existence. This fellow does not seek anyone's affection. He only needs the quiet to get down to business with his cleanup duties. A somber but indispensable presence in the pulse of the river. After all those cunning and imposing hunters, the greater flamingo appears softly and calmly, like pink clouds resting on the water's surface. Their appearance is more beautiful and brilliant than any ornamental bird, yet they are some of the most tough-as-nails nomads. Explorers without borders. When the salt lakes dry up, they are ready to fly hundreds of kilometers to find the coastal rivers of the savannah. A single greater flamingo can travel more than 500 kilometers in just one night to find a source of fresh water. This nomadic ability helps them thrive through the most challenging dry seasons, when large rivers are reduced to mere streaks of mud. Here, they do not just filter algae. They transform into true seekers of small fish and shrimp, a remarkable flexibility for a creature that might seem like a picky eater. While the rest of the world bows its head to eat, the greater flamingo turns its beak upside down in the water. That beak is a sophisticated biological filter. equipped with small horny plates called lamellae, which help capture small crustaceans and fish while pushing excess water out. Their brilliant pink color is the result of a diet rich in carotenoid pigments. In other words, they truly are what they eat. If they stop consuming shrimp and red algae, they will fade away like an old photograph. The flamingo's long legs feature a counter-current heat exchange system, helping to preserve body warmth as they stand for hours in cold water or saturated salt water. And although they may seem delicate, the skin on their legs is so firm and hardy that even corrosive salt or microscopic organisms must throw in the towel. It is quite an irony that the bird which appears most fanciful is actually the one with the most enduring ability to adjust. Beauty is not just for viewing, it is a top-tier survival strategy. A dancer whose knees never tire, a brilliant pink hunter upon the water. That is the poetic pulse of the Savannah River. And finally, there is a resident who receives little attention during the journeys of discovery across the savannah, the African clawless otter. Unlike most other otters, this fellow has traded claws for something more influential, hands as nimble as those of a human. The fingers of the African clawless otter are not fully webbed, allowing them to perform maneuvers that would give even a professional pickpocket a run for their money. They can reach into the narrowest rocky crevices, turning over every pebble to find crabs and mollusks. This otter has the ability to solve complex puzzles and remember solutions for a long time. They do not just seek a meal by instinct, they do so with an understanding of physical principles. They know how to use stones to crack open the firmest shells, a sign of tool use that is quite rare compared to many other residents. African clawless otters are incredibly affectionate beings. They live in family groups, sharing food and spending hours every day just playing. But playing is actually a set of training exercises for the skills needed by the next generation. In the swift current of the river, family bonding is the best protective shield. However, behind that endearing appearance and those playful antics lies a delicate reality. The African clawless otter is the health indicator of the river. They cannot thrive in water sources that are not pristine or where food is lacking due to overactivity by others. When you see them vanish, it means the pulse of the river is on its last legs. From the calculated pursuits of the lion prides, the proud solitude of the leopard, to the clever strategies of those who seek to thrive. You see, nature has no wasted pieces. It is truly a perfect fit. A giant like the African bush elephant paves the way for smaller neighbors. A caretaker like the marabou stork keeps the river free from ailments. And even the clamor of the spotted hyena is an essential part of the harmony. But let us be honest for a moment. This grand tapestry is facing some challenges that the claws of the residents cannot mend on their own. However, there are still extraordinary things happening right now on the continent. In 2025, Africa is truly stepping up to the plate as a model of dedicated effort. From the Great Green Wall project, reviving millions of hectares of dry land, to the use of artificial intelligence and satellite networks to protect the armored rhino knights from those who seek them. Nations like Botswana or Namibia have shown that when local communities pitch in to help, Wildlife is no longer a burden, but a source of pride and a steady way of life. What can we, sitting thousands of miles away from those rivers where the heat reaches 40 degrees Celsius, truly do? Preservation does not always have to be a tall order. It starts with choosing to understand and value these stories. It starts when you support clear products that do not come at the expense of the well-being of the residents or the vibrancy of the forests. It starts when you share this message, spreading the inspiration of a world where the tigerfish still leaps and the greater flamingo still paints pink clouds on the water. The wild world does not need us to rescue it as an act of charity. They simply need us to give them a fair shake by allowing them enough room to exist, a clean source of water to drink, and a basic level of respect for the rules that have been in place for millions of years. In the end, looking after the savannah is not just about helping them, but rather we are looking after a part of our own soul, the part that is most free and true. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And remember, every small action you take today is a heartbeat that helps the spirit of the Savannah River stay the course and continue to echo for generations to come. We have just traveled together through the most authentic glimpses into the lives of those who walk alone, the true nomad fighters of the natural world. In this place, solitude is not a choice made out of romance. It is a pathway to endurance that every resident must walk personally to ensure their lineage continues to carry the torch. After all these moments captured on film, I want to ask you one thing. Which resident in today's story caused you to see the wild in a new light? Is it the iron will of those roamers who were left with nothing, like the male lions moved on from their pride who are striving to find their kingdom once more? Or is it the cleverness of those wanderers who never throw in the towel, like the Nile monitor who dares to put it all on the line for those bold egg acquisitions? Do not keep those reflections to yourself. Please share your thoughts in the comments below regarding the remarkable resilience of the nomad warriors who truly caught your eye. Every story you share and every point of view you offer is how we stay in touch with the natural spirit that remains alive within us all. Do not forget to like and subscribe to stay in the loop for our upcoming expeditions, where we will continue to understand the most mysterious secrets of endurance. Your support is more than just a set of figures. It is the most precious inspiration that helps us continue our dedicated journey of following the great solitary ones across the globe.